Hi guys. I'm not one of those people that paint every day. I mean, I enjoy painting every once in a while. I'll get my phases where I'll get into painting with oils. I'll get a canvas, start painting with acrylics. I'll paint some models every now and then, but I'm not one of those guys that spend 2-3 hours a day painting miniatures or models or anything like that. And I refuse to go out and spend $6, $7, $8 on 10 milliliters of paint that are mass produced, such as the Vallejos and the Citadels and so on and so forth. I've never tried those. I had a bunch of acrylics, which are many, many years old. Call it 30 years ago. This was $4.35 30 years ago. Who knows what it's going to cost now. So they're high quality acrylics. And I created my own paints. I added some paint. They're still good. So I got some of this cadmium yellow orange. I added some into a container. I added paint thinner to it, enough to make it the right consistency. Sloshed it around and then added it to one of these bottles using a strainer. So it's nice and clear. So it's nice and fluid. There is no lumps. There is no particles in there. And they're differing consistencies. So what I want to do, and I've created a whole slew. I don't know if you can see them. Can you see a little? I think I've got about 58 colors I've created. For instance, I call this light sienna. I took some raw sienna and added white to it. I've got gunmetal gray. What I kind of did is I went on the internet, actually looked at the colors and tried to copy them. Here's the carbon black. This was a golden color. I think the tube of this is $30 now for the tube of the acrylic. Some Hansa yellow middle, cadmium yellow. So these are the base colors, and I created different colors with them. I call this cobblestone. It's a light beigey grayish color. I call this straw. So I created all these colors. What I need to do is make myself a color chart to see what the colors are that I've actually made, right? So what I'm going to do is, so what I've done is I've created 3 columns. Excuse the paint on my fingers. It's going to number of layers, so it's going to be 1 layer, 2 layers, and 3 layers of paint. I'll write the name there, and after this is all done, I should have a reference to understand what color rust is, for instance, or what color seawater is. I made up the names. This is my olive, daffodil yellow. So what I'm going to do is start with this. I've got over 28 colors. I want to go from black to white to dark brown with one of the sheets, and the other sheets I'm going to use the colors of the rainbow from darkest to lightest. So these are 7 reds. Not sure if you can see it. So here are the 7 reds. Right? I call this red rock. This is a light red. This is cadmium. Oh, this is called clay. Permanent crimson, crimson deep red, cadmium red, and a pink. I enjoy painting. I find it soothing. It's very relaxing for me. I've always enjoyed art. I've always enjoyed painting. I was never really good at drawing. I was half decent with drawing. I never really studied the painting aspect in school. I did take some courses in university, but I didn't follow through. And it's been a long time. So let's get at it. So we're going to start with the carbon black. And we'll get to it. It's just going to be a dot is all I'll probably need, right? That's all I'll need. So what we'll do, that's one layer. Give it a quick blow dry. This one's 2 layers. And 3 layers of carbon black. So you'll see that the carbon black was fairly thick in itself. Not much of a difference between the first layer and the third layer. This one's Payne's Gray. My Payne's Gray has a hint of blue to it. As you can see. Two layers of Payne's Gray. And 3 layers. So I'm not gonna put you guys through the pain of watch me paint them all. So this one is carbon black. This is Payne's Gray. As you can tell, this one is much thinner. The consistency on this color is much thinner than this color, which is one of the reasons I wanted to make this chart up, just to see which. So the reasons I wanted to make up this chart is to understand which of my paints are thin and which are thick. Some paints I made thicker than others. Some paints I made thinner than others. If I'm using my airbrush, I may need to thin some of these down, and some of these, for instance, this desert sand, will be perfect as it is for the paintbrush. Sorry. And this desert sand will be, seems like a good consistency for the airbrush as it is. So there's 3 coats of desert sand. This color I call R2D2 white. I don't know why. I think it's the color of the white on the R2D2, obviously. It's the color of the white on the R2D2, obviously. You have fun making up colors. I got my daughter to name a few of them. Oh, too much. This has been a while. This one clogged up. All right. At the bottom, what I'll do is I got some solder, some thick solder, and made a coil. I use that just to rub my brush against. Got 2 bottles. I keep one for the dirty water. This is fresh water. All right, cool white. It's basically titanium white with a tinge of blue to it. You can barely see the blue. Just made this up today, so I don't even know what color it is. Ochre. Browny, greeny, yellowy. I don't know. Let's see how it looks. Today I made this one up. It's one of the reasons my hands look like this. I made a cobalt blue up today. This one. Dry already. To a Benjamin Moore. Oh, geez, like. I bought these bottles at the dollar store. They were basically small condiment bottles. I bought these also at the dollar store at 12 for $4. It's a tie-dye set, so it had ink powder in there. I dumped all the ink powder, the fabric ink, fabric dye. It had the dye in there, so I dumped all the dye out, kept the bottles. I bought 2 packs. I paid $9 for 24 of these bottles. You can probably buy them cheaper online. I understand that. However, these ones are terrible. These are good bottles. What am I going to do? Why don't I just... My CA glue here is dying. What if I had some CA glue? Let's just seal it with some CA glue. That'll seal it. So, what did we say we're at? So I don't lose track. This is Ashley Gray. It's got a hint of brown to it. That's why it's on this side, not on the grays. I think my color blindness doesn't take me. It's not that bad, is it? I don't know. Now this is thinned down raw sienna. I have a thicker raw sienna here if I need a thicker paint. So I don't mind this thinness. You'll see that the third layer is a nice, the third layer covers it nicely. Okay, so that's, let me get the names down. Raw sienna. So it was after latte is straw, pink skin. My paint thinner is comprised of distilled water, isopropyl alcohol, 2-to-1 water to iso. I've added some glycerin to it. I don't know, 10 drops of glycerin. And 1 or 2 drops of soap. So the flow rate is the glycerin, and the soap is supposed to break up the surface tension. That's my paint thinner. Again, I lost track if this is 2 or 3 coats. You know what? I think I'm gonna add. So this is perfect consistency for the airbrush. Maybe a bit thick. I would add it to the container in the paintbrush. So add some paint to, oh look, I dropped it. I bent the nozzle, my goodness. If it seems thick, you just add a little bit of paint thinner to it and you just mix it up with a paintbrush. I can't believe I bent that. Anyways, what was that? Stone. You know what? Let's write that one down. That was stone, right? We have the blacks to the white to the browns. It's my color chart. I'll have this handy. Whenever I'm painting something, I can always reference this chart to see what the colors are. You know, I could have actually painted on it. No. So, on to the primary colors. Okay, this one I call Night Sky. It's going to be a blackish blue. I'm not sure. Let me get it from here, actually. So, melon, cadmium, you know what sucks? When you're filming a video and unbeknownst to you, the camera dies or the battery dies in the camera before you finish the video. So that's what happened. So apologies. So here's the end result. 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers of paint. We've got the black down to the white, and then we get into the browns and we end on the browns here. We start on the blues to the greens, to the yellows, to the oranges, and finish off on the reds. So what I'll probably do is I'll cut, actually let me do that now. Because I think what I want. I just usually sharpen my X-Acto knife on a stone. So we're going to cut these in half. So my color references. We'll keep it handy. These are my colors. It'll give me indication on the thickness of the paint on how many coats are required. And it'll give me an indication of what the color of the paint actually is when it's dry. For instance, this cobblestone will dry to be 1, 2, 3 layers of paint. So that's it. I'll keep this handy. This is going to be really helpful for me. You may want to try this yourself. If you found this video interesting or if you found it helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. And until next time, appreciate the view, guys. Thank you. Talk to you.